I was talking about Klaus Schwab. Oh, no, I didn't mean to convince you.
Okay. We're live right now. Tell me why you don't like Klaus Schwab's the way he says R.
It's like it's the people really, it's like it just makes like a terrible sound.
Is it really or is it really? Really?
No, he doesn't roll it. Rolling it is like more like Latin and French and stuff like cultures. But no, he it's like a throaty sound. It just sounds terrible.
Okay, then give me your best Klaus Schwab impression now.
No, I can't do it. I mean, I need like a sentence with a bunch of R's in it, but I'm just saying that I don't like the way he said it. Just like it sounds like a scary, mean bad guy, you know?
Well, that's what people think he is.
But I
He's
think
trying
it's
to.
part of the reason is because of the way he says his R's. Like if you were like, dude, check out this guy, World Economic Forum, he's taking over the world. Look at this video. And then it's this guy like, so basically what I'm trying to do is take over the world. And you'd be like, no, never in a million years. But it's this like guy who's like, the world, and you're like, fuck, I believe it, you know?
Yeah. No, he's pretty scary. The way he looks too, he looks like a old penis, like the tip of a penis, you know? Like,
Yeah,
and
no, it does. You're right.
he goes up on stage there and he's like, the World Economic Forum is proud to announce this economic meeting, and we will unite the nations. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
exactly.
who are you to tell anyone?
How did he become the head of? Did he like start that from day one?
Well, I guess he's like, instead of a career politician, he's a career NGO guy who had a bunch of money.
Mm.
His origins are pretty sketch, to be honest. Like if you look into it, he was just born right as World War II was happening, and he's German, and his dad, like, no one really knows who the dad is. I don't want to say any inaccurate information because I don't want this show to be
Yeah. Do you know how he made his money? How he became rich?
I think it's inheritance. I know he's like an engineer. He has like a background in engineering. Let's see, Klaus Schwab. Because when you look at his thing, all he's ever known for is the World Economic Forum.
Well, it's because like if you take a guy like Elon Musk, when he's like trying to tell me that the world should be a certain way or I should live life a certain way, I'm inclined to listen to him because I'm like, this guy has started, a company that's revolutionizing the world with electric cars. He's gonna make our species interstellar. He's taking us to Mars. I'm like, all right, like I'll hear this guy out. But if it's just this big penis who like inherited money,
this
and
he's like,
you must do what I tell. I'm like, dude, get this guy out of here. Like, why should I listen to this guy? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And especially he's German too. So that's like doesn't make it any better. Like last time like, a crazy German guy went on stage wanting to unite the world. It wasn't
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can sum up that guy by saying he wanted to unite the world, but I mean, look, I just think that
he wanted to take over the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's not a bad gig to work for like an NGO or like a nonprofit, because you get all these donations, and to maintain your nonprofit status, you have to like burn through your cash.
Okay, well sorry, you finish your point.
Well, my point is like that's kind of a fun job because you're like, holy fuck, like we got $100 million worth of donations this year. We have to spend $100,000 today. So what do? You like fuel up the jet, you fly to some place, you stay at the nicest hotels, you have brunch, you order the $1,000 lobster. Like you got to burn the cash, You
got to burn the cash, and on top of that, you got to go to these events with your $1,000 jet, whatever it is. And then tell people you have to be more green. We have to move in a direction. It's like, you fat fuck. And we know that meat is not good. We have to find solution to eat more plant-based. Meanwhile, the fat fuck's eating a lobster, stuffing his face with steak.
Yeah, exactly.
And those people are always the meanest. Like, I bet his butler gets so much shit. I thought I told you to bring me the steak. Like
yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's these people, they become really, really rich, and then they think like, wow, I have everything figured out, Like I have a fast car, I wear sunglasses with the roof down, I listen to loud music, I drive right onto the tarmac.
He's not that guy though.
Well, I mean, but the point is, okay, so he's like chauffeured around in a limousine. The point is he probably thinks he's pretty good because of his money. And it's like, dude, you're not good because you like figured it out. You're good because you're fucking rich, you know? Like that's not hard. I could be rich really easily. Everybody knows how to be rich.
I mean, not everybody knows how to be rich. I don't think Klaus knows how to be rich. I think his parents knew how to be rich, and he was obviously in contact with some very, um, high up there
I don't mean
people,
make it
and
how to make it rich. I mean like how to like spend money. Everybody knows how to spend
because
money. Fine.
basically this guy was I'm looking at his career and education right now. He graduated as a mechanical engineer from Swiss Federal Institute of Zurich, so it's in Switzerland. And then it says here that honestly, Wikipedia is pretty like vague. It doesn't say too much, but it says that he's a professor of business policy at University of Geneva. Okay, so this guy's a teacher from 1972 to 2003, and he's been an honorary professor, and he published Global Competitive Reportness.
What does that mean,
And
honorary professor? What does that mean?
I don't
Honorary
know.
Who decides that he's an honorary professor?
He
Probably not the
does.
students. Dude, if you look at his Rate My Teacher, it's probably fucking terrible.
Klaus likes to Klaus grabbed my ass in class.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh
don't know
my
about
god.
that, but he probably wasn't a good teacher.
He just liked to promote his product, I guess. He's like, and this is not the full course. If you want to purchase the full course, donate $500 to the World Economic Forum. He's like trying to scam his.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
grifter. He's a big time grifter. That's what he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly. Students are like, I'll do anything to get an A. And he's like, donate to my World Economic Forum.
So apparently he wrote books, and he's into this thing called stakeholder capitalism. And I mean, I don't know if you've been hearing this term going around, stakeholder capitalism,
Yeah.
but Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, a lot of these guys like to throw this term out, and they credit it to, oh, now that the pandemic has happened, it allows us to reshape the global economy and do stakeholder
Well,
capitalism.
I like
But
stakeholder capitalism because, you know, even though I haven't bought the product and I'm a useless loser, I get to tell companies what to do, you know, it's kind of nice. And they should have my best interest at heart, you know?
oh, you're acting like Klaus, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kidding. I don't really agree with it, but
Well, stakeholder capitalism means the stakeholders. It's like it's like we have to. They're the stakeholders, basically. It's like their own capitalism, I guess you could say.
well,
You know.
every stakeholders are as everybody, right? Stakeholders are anybody that the company affects, and they're trying to say that companies like affect the whole world. And
But who's electing these stakeholders is my question.
well, I think what they mean by stakeholders is just people, you know, like who does, you know, Amazon's business affects the whole United States when they, you know, put people out of business, when they decide that they're going to be using this kind of thing and it affects the environment and their product and everything. So everybody is a stakeholder in the world and they affect the world. So I think it's sort of like everybody is affected by it. But the thing is they want to be our representatives. You
Mhm.
know, they want to be like, oh, aren't you tired of people treating you like this? And aren't you tired of this? And why aren't companies hearing you? You're the little guy. Like, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, we need to come together. But meanwhile, like, they're the ones who are going to represent us. They're the
Yeah,
bosses. And
exactly.
it's like we've heard this speech before, you know. So I think I would
Yeah.
encourage people to sort of be a little bit weary of those guys.
No, 100%. I mean, it's only I've seen conspiracy theories and stuff like from day one about this thing, and just now it's breaking to the mainstream. Waters World covered it. Ben Shapiro covered it. So and a lot of people thought that I was like a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, well, no, I'm not a conspiracy. This is what they call it, the Great Reset 2030. They want to have these different agendas that relate to the United Nations sustainability projects. And obviously, like people could go crazy, but I always tell people, like, just because this NGO says that they want to do this does not mean it's going to happen. There's
Mhm.
pushback that might happen, well, is happening with people who are fed up with all this stuff. But if you look at it, he hasn't done anything other than being a honorary professor and have the World Economic Forum since 1987, and big leaders like what's his name? Henry Kissinger, Putin, all these guys were coming early on, and George Soros, and people criticize him because they say that he's capturing democratic structures and institutions. Everyone's bought by the World Economic Forum. If you look at it, there are a lot of the big companies like Walmart, a lot of these big companies that have none other in my head, like Walmart. I'm gonna go through a list, like Walmart. I hate being that guy. It's such a Montreal thing to do. People when they talk in Montreal, and the guy, it's like, hey, and anyway.
I think that's everybody who forgets like what they're talking about.
It's more so in Montreal, in my opinion, though. I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's what he did. So, and a lot of the people like Chrystia Freeland and just the people like Yagmeet Singh, all these people have been a part of their programs. They're the young global leaders. If you knew you wanted to be a politician, and there's this thing called the young global leaders, and it's like kind of like coaching leadership events. You used to be the president of our school back in the day.
Yeah.
What's your take on those type of things? Do you think people are actually compromised when they go to something? Because Tulsi Gabbard, she also did it too, and she's not really on that same line. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, look, I think first of all, well, it's two different questions. First of all, I think young global leaders, like, I don't really like the sound of that. It sounds like Hitler Youth Group. And I don't know what they're planning over there, but maybe that's an exaggeration. But what do I think about like student leadership? Like when I was president of my high school, it's a big joke. It's a
You
big
could
joke.
have been I'm trying to make the connection that you could have been a young global leader if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, I think what these sort of things do is like they sort of they make you feel special, and they make you feel like you're better than everybody else. And but meanwhile, you're not really doing anything, But people want to be part of something. They want to be part of a movement. They want to be on the inside of something and everything. So, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know what they're planning over there. Most of this is just speculation.
I feel like NGOs are just so useless. Like just organizations that make content. It's like no one fucking cares, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
I'm sure there's some that are doing good and everything, but at the end of the day, people are selfish, and people care about themselves, and that's never really going to change,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I mean, there are good people that care about humanity and society, but rarely do we see them want to go after like positions of power. They'd rather do something on a community level.
right.
But anyways, enough about Klaus Schwab and all that stuff. I mean, there's tons of things there. They articles, but I don't want to get too into that. Let's talk about something fun right now. What's something fun? Oh, this isn't fun. Okay. It's just another article there. It says scientists planning to feed school children insects to make the UK greener. I don't know.
They want to feed school children insects?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the thing about meat and green stuff. I mean, obviously, it could be some fake news, from some.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cultures that eat insects. I've seen like people eat insects. They do these things where they take like grasshoppers or something or crickets, and they dry them out, and they put all these spices on them. And I have
I like that.
I have a friend of mine who eats like stuff like that, and I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's gross. But I think if you're born, like if you're a little kid and your parents like give you bugs and you grow to think it's like fine, then you're gonna eat it. It's like my parents never gave me lobster when I was a kid, so I like don't like lobster now. I see this like thing, and to me it looks like a big cockroach that lives in the bottom of the ocean, and I think it's gross. I don't want to eat it. Like I don't, and people go crazy for lobster, but I wasn't given it as a child, so I'm like, get this fucking thing away from me. It's like got a hard shell, like it's like looks like a monster.
I never tried lobster.
You never tried lobster?
But I do know, like some lobster looks good, like in cartoons, or like you see the red lobster picture, it's like all red. But then when you see it, it's like brownish, and it's got like this cockroach kind of
the eyes, and it's crazy. People like take it apart on the table. They rip the legs off and they like eat it. It looks like an insect. Like it's ugh. I think it's disgusting. But if they're giving it to kids at a young age, kids will get used to it. And that's why I think to tie this into a greater discussion, kids are very impressionable, and basically they're these little beings that they come out of their moms, and they don't know what's around them. They don't know what the world is. They don't know. We have to tell them, hey, you're on this planet, you're floating around, and they have no idea, and they just believe anything you tell them. You're like, oh, the Santa Claus is this fat guy who lives at the North Pole, and they believe it. They're like, oh, really? And you're like, yeah, he comes in our house. And they're like, oh, really? And they believe anything you tell them, and they're very impressionable. So whoever has access to the kids and whoever tells the kids what is up and what is down has a huge amount of power. And if you tell these kids, hey, eat these bugs, it's good protein and it's good, kids are going to start liking it. They're going to eat them, and they'll eat them for the rest of their lives. So, I guess that's like a bigger story, but I think that's why people are worried about who's telling their kids what, because it's like you tell kids anything and they'll believe it.
Yeah, that's a big issue in America, right? With the activists, or what are the trans activists? You always hear about it on like Fox News, or they have this thing, the libs of TikTok. I think that's what it is. And it's always these teachers like saying, today I went to class and I told them, it doesn't matter what you like gender you are. I don't know. They like, you could change in the afternoon from what gender you are to, in the evening you could change too.
Yeah.
It kind of relates to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, people are, well, because people have an issue with certain stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're like, a man going in a woman's bathroom, like that's not right. But it's like if you tell a kid that hey, he can go whatever bathroom he wants, it's fine, it's up to him. The kid's gonna be like, oh, okay, and he'll be fine with it. But the parents want their kids to have the same mindset that they do. They want their kid to also think that there's something wrong with that. So, but for that to happen, the teacher has to teach them that, because they spend most of their time at school. So people are, and that's why there was these laws. There was the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida and stuff. And so, it's just parents trying to control what their kids think more, because if they have a teacher at school telling them like, these things are fine, then they're going to think it's fine. But honestly, parents should just do a better job of parenting their kids,
Yeah. I agree. I think that like my experience, I've always been the shit disturber in school. I mean, you probably remember I spent a lot of time in the hallway, and the teachers
in the office.
At a certain point, they, when someone else would say something distracting, they'd get 10 times the punishment that I would get, because they're just so used to me fucking being such a little prick in their class. Right. But one thing is, I think we both remember going to school, is there's always teachers that they become teachers because they don't really have power in their own life. So what they'd rather do is tell kids what to do. It gives them a sense of authority, right? And a lot of these people come in as moralists, just like they do in the government. They go in as moralists, and they try to kind of like have a moral high ground. I think we all remember that golden teacher in St. George's, right? Remember? We were like filming that little thing there.
I remember.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think you know a little bit about that better than I do, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, teachers, they, unless you're teaching math, if you're reading a book, if you're showing a movie, you're looking at art, and art can always be interpreted in different ways, So you're gonna, you have the power to sort of tell the kids like what they should interpret from certain things. I mean, a good teacher, kind of lets their kids be who they are and stuff, but a bad teacher is like, no, you need to see things my way. I'm in charge. And that's sort of what you're saying,
Yeah. And just like, I don't know, they get that chance to be like take their day out on a kid,
Yeah.
Even though the kid is a little.
Any job where people have authority over people. And in fact, a lot of jobs are like that. If you're a manager at a McDonald's, you can yell at the guy who works for you. You know what I mean? So you sort of see that a lot. But yeah, teachers get that ability. But you know what? I think, again, it's up to the parents, because if a kid comes home from school and he tells his parent like, daddy, my teacher said that Justin Trudeau is the best teacher, or is the best prime minister. You know what I mean? Then your dad can be like, yeah, because the teacher's an idiot and he's stupid, and he, you know what I mean, and he works in a school, and he doesn't really know what it's like to run a business, and daddy owns a construction company, and Justin Trudeau is making it really hard for me to put gas in my trucks and pay my employees, and you know what I'm saying, like this is a random example, whatever you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
Justin Trudeau, but you know, it's your job to then tell the kid, and then the kid's going to sit there and he's going to look up at the sky and he's going to think about what you just told him, and then he's going to decide what he thinks, you know, based
That's
on what the
good.
best information is. So this idea that like schools can just brainwash kids, it's like, yeah, maybe if your kid comes to ask you something and you're like, shut the fuck up, I'm on my phone, you know what I mean?
It's
Like
true.
then all he's going to do is listen to the teacher.
It is up to the parents, but sometimes the kids don't have the luxury of having that time with their parents because the parents, both parents maybe are working a job. By the time they get home, they don't want to, they cook a meal. They just want to unwind and watch a show with their kid or something. So I don't know how is the kid actually going up and saying these things? How does the parent track
Well,
what the kids are learning in school?
yeah, maybe that's up to the parent to be like, hey, what did you learn in school today, buddy? Like, what's going on in your life? But, you know, more
It's
and more
true.
parents just throw the
It's true.
iPad in front of the kid. Like, at some
This
point,
is what I'm
parents have
saying.
to have a certain amount of responsibility over their kids. And it's like, yeah, they'd rather watch TV. Like, yeah, okay, well, maybe shouldn't have a kid. Like, maybe you're not the best parent. So,
Yeah.
I
Kids
don't know.
kids are different these days. I don't know. Like you bring the iPad point that it's like there's almost like a sense of these fucking little pricks. They think they're so much better than you with their fucking little iPad, You try to communicate with them, you're like, "Hi," and the kid's um like, you know what I mean? He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about you.
Yeah,
What do
because
you
you're
but
boring. You're boring.
yeah,
You're
you're
not like
competing with
stimulated.
Angry Birds or whatever. Not even Angry Birds. Like what's that shit called? Fuck.
And they watch YouTube. They do everything. It's crazy. They all and they start from like such a young age. They're captivated by these screens. You know. Even
Mhm.
when I was in Europe, like we'd go to these nice restaurants and we'd be these beautiful places, and these parents are there and they just give their tablets to their kids and stuff. And I think it's like you're winning. Like it's like a short term thing, because if you could just raise your kid to be not an asshole, then you could take
Yeah.
them to these places and enjoy it with them, you know? But
Mhm, mhm.
instead, you've like never chosen to like deal with that problem. You're always just giving the iPad, giving the iPad, giving the iPad. So, you know, and it's like, you know, we didn't used to have that stuff, and like kids managed and parents managed. Like, what has changed about our society that now parents need the iPads? And they're gonna look at me and be like, well, you don't know, you're not a parent. It's like, no, I don't know. But like
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
parents fucking for 100 years did it without the iPads. What's your excuse, bitch? I mean, not bitch, but
You
you know what I
fucking
mean?
boy. You fucking
No. But
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying, you know?
No,
So
of course. Of
yeah.
course. And these fucking parents, man, like like you said, what do you know? You don't have a kid. It's like they think just because they're a parent, they know what they're doing. But there's a million fucking retarded parents out there. And I mean, me and you, we were raised differently by a different generation, the boomers, Um, but I don't know how it is now. I mean, it's tough because it's a pacifier. Like the iPad is a pacifier. It's to make them shut the fuck up. So there's no problems at the table and you could have your conversation or whatever it is that you want the kid to not, because kids like they're always doing something if they're not on their phone. They're picking this up, they're picking
Yeah,
that up. I don't know.
exactly. It's like a mute button for a kid, you know?
Yeah.
You just like
Yeah.
hit it and then they go into this little trance with their iPad, and they're not gonna say word until it dies, you know?
Hmm.
But I mean, I don't know if you're really a parent at that point. You're more of like an IT guy. All you do is like charge the iPad for them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then they get like angry if you don't give it to them. Like, no, like you're like, you've had it enough today. And they're like, no,
Well,
and
they
they
want
become little
stimulation. They want stimulation.
they're getting dopamine rushes.
Exactly. And you know what, man? I think that, well, first of all, I think what's interesting is like we haven't seen, like we didn't have that when we were growing up,
No.
but kids these days do. We haven't seen what a fully formed kid who grew up with the iPad looks like. We haven't seen that. And the iPad never really goes away, because as soon as they get young enough to get rid of the iPad in the little bouncy case, it's replaced with the phone, you
Hmm.
know?
Well, I mean, we did grow up the generation that grew up with the internet in the early 2000s, obviously. Like, I mean, you probably use the computer when you were 7 years old, right?
Yeah, but man, it wasn't like it was today, bro.
I agree, but if you just look at the demographic and the statistics, apparently no one wants to work right now at our age. This generation has seen 9/11. It's seen, not that they care, but I just feel like we're at a point where like there's so much nihilism, and it's so easy to just drown everything out on TikTok that I don't know. There's almost like a very nihilistic generation, especially like 2008 financial crisis. It's like everything is corrupt, I don't know if that relates to it. I don't know if that's relates to it, but
I
it's
don't
just
think
like,
I don't think it does.
I mean, it doesn't, maybe I'm going too deep into it, but I'm just saying, like, imagine you work your ass off. You like, this is 2008 era or whatever it is. You buy a house under these crazy mortgage prices that they're giving away. And then it's because the bank told you, yes, like you could get this mortgage and it's fine. And then all of a sudden the crash happens and it's the banks that are bailed out by the government. It's like those banks were the one. And meanwhile, the people at the banks.
But you're saying our generation didn't buy houses from the banks in 2008.
I agree, but we were like, we maybe we were too young enough to know what happened, but it's just like seeing how much fuckery there is, just like people could get away with that type of stuff and there's no trust in the system. Maybe that kills incentive to do anything. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no. I totally disagree. I mean, it's that I see what you're saying.
Fuck you. I don't want to have this conversation then.
No, I see what you're saying. It's an interesting point. You're like, why should I even get out of bed when the big banks are going to screw me anyway? But I see that point, but I don't think people are smart enough to think like that. I think that back in the old days, if you wanted a dopamine hit, you had to work for it. If you wanted a dopamine hit, you had to like get out of bed, go earn some money, like get a couple bucks, save up, get an old car, fix it up, paint it. Then you had like a Camaro and it was cool. And then, you wanted to be cool. You had to join the football team and you had to go to the practices and it was hard. But then you got to wear the football jacket and you had the jacket and you had the car and you could save up and you'd buy like a little cassette for your car and you'd play the latest music. And then you got a girlfriend and that's where, you know what I mean? And it's like, you had to work for things. And it made this equation where it's like, you work hard and then you get something. And now it's like, you want that stuff, like just go on your phone and go on TikTok, So
we're victims of that too. So you could say that it's also an experiment that we're going to grow up to be 50-year-old boomers, like the people that show off their asses all day, they're going to be 50-year-old boomers. And that's going to be a totally different way of of a generation than the one previous before us too. Just like the people on their iPads, the little kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what do you mean?
I just mean when I said we grew up with the internet, obviously a lot of people watched YouTube and I don't know. It's just like,
no, but you say, why do people don't want to work today? I think that's why. I think people are just lazy. They're lazy and they have everything they want at their fingertips. And it's just like,
it's like Tinder.
I don't know. It's easy to jump from like thing to thing. You know what I mean? Like back in the old days, like you would hear people's success story and they'd be like, oh, well, I used to live next to a mechanic, so I got a job working for him. And then I talked to the guy who used to deliver the beverages, and he told me that there was a huge market for delivering soda cans. And I went.
Why does everyone sound like an old white man?
No, but that's how people used to make it. And now it's like you could have any job you want in the whole world. You could move anywhere you want in the whole world. You can have anything you want in the whole world ordered to you on Amazon in the next 2 seconds. And it's like
too many options.
That much options. It's like you crumble under all of it. My dad always had an expression that he would tell his employees at the bank. And it was, if you have 2 ice cream stores, okay? And this is what he would tell his managers who worked in branches when they were trying to work on making things to make customers happier and stuff. He's like, if you had 2 ice cream stores and one of the ice cream stores has 100 different flavors and the other ice cream store has 2 flavors, vanilla and chocolate. If you were to interview people who came out of the stores, you would find that the people coming out of the vanilla or chocolate store would be much happier than the people coming out of the store with 100 flavors, because the store with 100 flavors, as soon as you tell the guy which flavor you want and he starts scooping it, you're already like fuck, I should have got that one. Why didn't I get that one? You know what I mean? I don't want this. So it's like sometimes too many choices. It just, you crumble under the pressure. And in our situation, like people won't even choose which ice cream they want. They're still just staring at the fucking display case. You know, Pierre Polyev, it was saying people living in their basement when they're 35. Yes, maybe some of that is because they can't afford to move out. But I think some of it is also because they're like, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I just can't see myself pinning myself into one job for the rest of my life. So they don't do anything.
Yeah, they they kind of just freeze in panic, I guess. It's kind of like when I go to a store and I like all the things there, I'm like, wow, like guitar pedals. There's so many different ones. It's like you feel the same. It's almost like it doesn't feel good because everything is so good.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And then you can't have any satisfaction. Can't get no satisfaction. How are you supposed to get any satisfaction out of your life when you are constantly seeing so many other options and so many other things that you could be doing, and when all of those things are better, you know what I mean? So I don't know. There's always a better thing, a faster thing. And now it's like we're reminded of it all the time on social media in our pockets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why you shouldn't start your day with that bullshit, or just try to like avoid it as much as possible. I was with Charles last night. We were having a beer. And he's pretty happy because he doesn't have Instagram. He doesn't have any of that stuff. And he's saying exactly what you're saying. He's not distracted by any of those things. And he says he's trying to buy a house by the age of 25, after he sells his Camaro. And I'm like, this guy's mature and stuff. And obviously, he's giving up some sacrifices such as experience because he wants to do that. But it's like you come at peace when you're not so distracted. And he looks like he's at peace, as opposed to many of us who are like looking around, there's so many things, so many stories. He's on Facebook. What's going on Facebook?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Facebook is, I guess, not as interesting. I guess TikTok maybe is also the problem, the stimulation.
TikTok, but anyways, Liam, I know we've been talking. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm proudly announcing that I work with Streann Studio. Streann Studio is the perfect platform to start your podcast. Liam, you have a podcast too, don't you?
I do.
What's it called?
It's called Watch This with Liam Fabre. You guys can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Hey, we're not promoting your podcast. We're promoting Streann Studio, okay? You use Streann Studio, right?
I don't use Streann Studio. I use Live to Social. It's another product, but Streann Studio is great.
Oh, you use Live to Social?
Yeah, I use Live to Social.
I didn't know that. Anyways, I use Streann Studio, and I don't know what you're doing on Live to Social. You got to get on Streann Studio. Streann Studio is the easiest platform to start your podcast today. I mean, I've told my mom about it, and now she's doing her own podcast in Persian. And I said, really? Mom, that's no, yeah, she is. She's talking about different recipes that you could make. And I said, Mom, like, why talk about it? Film it. So that's what she did. She goes on the podcast live every day. She shows people how to do different recipes
every day.
Hey, come on. You're gonna kill my promo here, okay? But my point is, she's an older person. She's a boomer, and she figured it out. So can you. If you got an interesting voice, if you got things that are stuck in your goddamn head and you want to get it out, you want to start a communist manifesto, whatever it is, go ahead and do it on Streann Studio. Streann Studio is easy. All you got to do is put your email in. When you're on the website, you'll get a code on your email. Bada bing, bada boom. You can start your podcast. Easy as that. All you got to do is go to Streann. Streann.studio, and you could start that today. If you use the promo code Shayan Amiri, you could get yourself a nice deal there. SHAYANAMIRI. What do you think about Streann Studio?
Well, the problem is I don't think I can join another website and have to remember another password. I have too many passwords in my head. It's too much.
Well, guess what? You don't need a password because they'll send you a code. All you need is an email.
Well, I have an email.
Yeah,
but I only have 1 minute to start my podcast.
Well, that's okay because all you got to do is open your Google Gmail tab and then you'll get that code and you copy and paste it. And within 2 seconds, you'll be able to start your podcast.
Wow, amazing. You sold me, Shayan.
I know. I sell everybody on this. I mean, just the other day, Matthew Kaminsky said he's going to start a podcast, and I said on Streann Studio, right? And he's like, right. So I think he's going. But it's
Well, look, I mean, you want to start a podcast, that's fine. You want somebody to listen to it, that's a different story. You know what I mean? If you want somebody to actually listen to your podcast, how are you going to get them to do that? Realistically speaking, how are you going to get somebody to listen to your podcast? Well, it has to be entertaining for them, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to send them an hour-long audio file where they have to sit down in their house with their arms crossed with a pair of like headphones and listen to your podcast for an hour straight and do nothing else. Like, not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. So if you want to get people to listen to it, you have to give them something interesting to watch. Unless they're a friend of yours, then they'll do you the honor of listening to it. But if you want to spread it, you're going to need to do micro capsules. You're going to need to post it on social media, and you can't post audio files on social media. It has to have a video component. So that's why Streann Studio, it's a good option for people who want to start a podcast, because you need that video component if you want to grow as a podcast.
Exactly. And I mean, I think this ad is a little long, but I got to make the point that one time I filmed it on my iPhone and then I went on Logic Pro, I recorded it, but I didn't get anything. I got 20 minutes out of the iPhone, and who wants to hear iPhone quality? Do you? I didn't think so. I said it too early. I didn't think so. But Streann Studio has allowed me to do that. Anyways, we're moving.
What the hell?
Hello?
I lost you.
I know. I closed the wrong tab. There. Let me. I'm happy, guys. Streann Studio saved it. Okay.
Is it still live?
It's still. I think it's live. Because it's on you. But can you believe that, guys? Streann Studio. I just exited the tab. Here. It's just amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. I've never seen something work so well. Anyways, we're gonna look at the news.
Are you sure we're live, Shayan, on Facebook? Because I don't see it on your Facebook.
Oh, it's not live anymore?
It was never live, bro.
No, it has to be. Maybe it's live on my profile.
Oh, and on Shayan Amiri?
Fuck, I hope it.
No.
Really? That's odd because I did it to be live. I've kind of ran into this trouble before with Streann.
You should check.
No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't Streann. It was because I was an idiot.
You should check the stream before you start.
You're right. I should have. I just got in. We were talking about that Klaus Schwab thing, and I thought it was a perfect time to start. Oh my god. Anyways, it's going to be posted on Facebook. I guarantee you.
Okay,
Usually it's live on stream. Anyways, we're done with that. But anyway, a lot of people, they're talking about Donald Trump. And, I don't like the woke people. You go woke, you go broke. Donald Trump's media company plans non-woke streaming service featuring canceled shows.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Truth Social kind of tanked, I don't know about that. I don't know if Trump's going to be able to pull it off. I guess he can because there's a lot of devoted fans, right?
I mean, I guess if you get all the Trump people to subscribe, but I don't know that they will. I feel this push from Daily Wire and stuff to paint Netflix as being this super woke company. And I don't know that they are. I don't know that they're that woke,
Well, they have some shows that are questionable, and they decide to put right after the Ukraine thing happened, there's a Zelensky documentary, they do that type of stuff where they're obviously going with a narrative that's from the establishment, I guess you could say. Not saying, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then, but I still don't think, I don't know. I don't know if people are gonna, I mean, content, you gotta have interesting content, you know? If a streaming service comes out with really good shows that are really good, people will subscribe. And if they don't, they won't, you know? But I don't
Yeah,
know that this thing of like, you need to fight back against the left. You need to fight back against Netflix. Subscribe to our platform. It's like, I don't know that that's gonna work. You
I
know,
agree.
people are not just going to give you money because they don't like the other side. They need to actually bring it. They need to make good content. And you talk about Daily Wire,
Yeah.
what Terror on the Prairie? What's the other
Oh,
one?
oh yeah. What was it? The one where the guy tries to break into the house. I think the whole fucking movie is just one room. Like,
Yeah, but what was the other one? The it's like some weird the Skepticals or what was it called? The
bank robbery movie.
uh
Let me pull it up. Daily Wire
movies.
movies. Shit, all of them. Run, hide, fight,
Yeah.
Terror on the Prairie, and Shut In, and all
There
these
was,
movies.
there was
You
another
know,
one though too, wasn't there? You told me
isn't
about
that?
it?
I think so. Yeah, it's like some really bad one. They're like wearing costumes and shit.
Yeah, weird costumes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe it
Uh,
didn't want to promote that one because it bombed.
was it a TV show? Daily Wire TV show?
No.
No.
Who's watching this shit? Really?
It was like the something goals. It was like these weird characters. It was like science fiction or something. Remember?
Okay. Vincent Gallo. Ugh. Gina Carano. Shut In.
Gina Carano. Who is Gina Carano? Who is this woman? It's like I'm supposed to like love her. I don't even know who she is. You know what I mean? Like, they act as if it's like Tom Hanks. Like, I don't know this Gina woman. I don't know who she is. I watched an interview with her to try to like her, and I like fell asleep. So like I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to force this woman down my throat. It's like no, thank you.
Oh my god. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's like they're so
Gina.
happy that they saved Gina Carano. Like, you need to give us money because we saved Gina Carano. Like, what about these fucking refugee babies dying? Like, why don't you help them instead of Gina Carano? Like, she doesn't need your fucking help, you
Oh
know?
my god. Okay. Gina Carano is an ex UFC. She's an MMA fighter who turned into an actress. She was on the very famous show, The Mandalorian. I'm sure you've heard of it. It was the number one show in 2019. It was like a Star Wars show, or 18. Anyways, so she tweets about the storming of the Capitol like a good actress does. And then she gets canceled because she says, "Oh, the government's acting like Nazis," or something like that. And they're like, Disney does not want to like work with like a person who makes such comparison, the racism. And then Ben Shapiro's like, "Well, actually, she just compared the event to what," you know what I mean? And he's like, "We're gonna hire you, Gina Carano." And Gina Carano is like this new Tulsi Gabbard type of figure, you know? Like,
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think she's that interesting. I don't think that they had to save her. I mean, look, she was working for Disney. She knew what she was doing. Like, you know, the consequences of what you're, I know the political leanings of the people in my office. I don't go in there like yelling the opposite of what they
it's
believe,
true.
Like
It's
that's
true.
everybody in their job has to sort of do stuff. And it's like, why is this woman, because she's an actress, we all supposed to feel bad for her? I don't know. Also,
Well,
Daily Wire, their solution is to make these movies that it's like they want people who watch them to kill themselves. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like they get in a room and they're like, let's make what's the worst movie we can make? Well, we can make a movie about somebody on the prairie walking around, and they're like, yeah, that's good. That's good. Fucking make this snooze fest. I
Bro,
don't
I
know.
don't. Why don't they just combine the budget of all three movies and make a good movie rather than making three shitty low budget movies? You know?
You know what? I'm just gonna come up with a movie right now in my head. Okay, I'm just gonna come up
Okay.
with a movie right now, and it's gonna be better than all three of those.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let's do. How about a movie? It takes place in Beverly Hills. Okay,
Okay.
and it has Eddie Murphy and Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Well, dude, we can't. We're the Daily Wire. Okay, pretend we are the Daily Wire, and we can't afford Eddie Murphy or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger won't do it because I don't do movies that are not woke. You know what I mean? Eddie Murphy's like, I don't got time for that shit.
The whole point is that it's not. They're like, we're tired of leftists like putting their agenda in movies.
Yeah, but
and then
those
they go
guys
make movies about guns and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, but Arnold Schwarzenegger likes to hang out with Greta Thunberg.
But fine, then put Greta Thunberg in the movie. She gets hit by a car in the movie or something. I don't know.
No, but the idea is that we're the Daily Wire, okay? And Greta Thunberg's not going to work with us. We have to get shitty actors like Gina Carano, okay? Or another UFC, fucking Cowboy Cerrone, okay? People that are, not the creme de la creme,
The guy from Gutfeld.
Exactly. Greg Gutfeld, okay? Jesse Waters.
The fighter who's on that show, the WWE.
Yeah, the fucking Tyrus.
Yeah, Tyrus.
I don't know. No one's gonna get.
You know
this.
what I mean? Like a movie where like Eddie Murphy's a cop or something like that.
And okay, but we have to get. Like okay, captain. No, I got it for you. Okay. Okay, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino. Crime in Bongino. Okay. Or it's a crime movie set in New York. Okay. It's following Dan Bongino, and he has to figure out who did the murder. Okay. Because Nancy Pelosi sent a hit on Greg Gutfeld.
We'll never be able to afford Nancy. I got a better movie for you. And this one
but it has to be Dan Bongino, okay?
No, this one's affordable because they don't have the money to have the big sets and to go shoot on location. So instead, it's just Greg Gutfeld reading a script into a camera for 2 hours.
And him laughing at his own jokes.
Yeah. Well, we'll get a cast of people to sit around him. And we'll get Gina Carano and Michael Knowles. And it'll be good.
Come on, bro. The Dan Bongino idea sounded good. You have to admit.
I mean, he's good, but Dan Bongino is like 5 feet tall. Like, he's not going to be realistic.
Yeah, but he's a cop, though. You know?
Yeah, he was a cop. That's true.
He was a cop. Anyways, people don't know, but anyways, Trump, don't fucking start a media network. Why don't you just focus on becoming the president and trying to do it right this time rather than fucking upsetting everybody with your... You are the lowest in your class, like being a mean asshole during the debates. Smart. Don't even use the word smart. And he's such a dick.
I think Trump should just instead start like a content business. I really think that's what he should do instead. He should start a TikTok. He should make content. He should give speeches. He could probably charge. Yeah, he should probably charge $250,000 for a speech.
Yeah.
And just travel around, give your speeches, and do what ex-presidents do. It's pretty much what they do. Make a TV show. How about a show like Anthony Bourdain, except it's Trump, and they send Trump to like Vietnam and all these countries, and that'd be a good show.
Anthony Bourdain with Trump. Yeah, he goes into the restaurant and he's like trying to negotiate the meal. Okay, $13.45. I'm thinking it'll be more like $5.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheap. That'd be funny.
Exactly. But I think that's what he should do instead.
I think he actually cares about the country. I think he really does. He cares about putting on shows like the American Freedom Tour, where he rips people off. Why don't we tell people about the American Freedom Tour?
Yeah.
Why don't we tell them about that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, so when you came to visit me here in Miami,
yes,
Trump was going to be speaking at an event, the American Freedom Tour.
And I thought it is a funny thing to see, Trump, because I always do the impression and stuff. I'm like, we're not so political. We're not politically going there. We're not like he's going to give back our rights and he's going to give some speech. We're just there to have some laughs.
But a Trump rally is like a cultural event. You know what I mean? It's like you see all of these people.
It's like a circus.
Diehard fans. Yeah. And you saw a lot of people, even on the left, like these late night shows, they would send these guys with a microphone out to these Trump rallies, and they'd have them interview people, and they got a lot of content off of it. They seemed to think it was pretty funny. So we wanted to check it out. You know, we're both from Canada, and we wanted to see what it was like to go to a Trump rally. But it wasn't really a Trump rally. It was called the American Freedom Tour. And there was a lot of other people that were speaking there, right?
Yeah, it was like a nice grifter pie, you know, like they have speakers like Dan Bongino from Fox News and Candace Owens from the Daily Wire, but they're all sandwiched in with these nobody grifters.
But that's what we
Okay.
found out, right? Because it was an all day long thing, right? It
Yeah.
went from what was it, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, it was supposed to be actually 8 a.m. because
Yeah, 8
you have
a.m.
to be
to
there
5
for
p.m.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders' little breakfast.
Breakfast with Sarah.
You think I want to wake up and see that bitch the first thing in the morning?
Breakfast with Sarah Huckabee Sanders at 8 a.m. And this was on a Saturday, and
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
at,
we got fucked up the night before. Seeing some comedy show. I feel like we gotta say that. Talk about the comedy show.
Yeah,
The
but
improv.
anyways, we got there. You wanted to go there early. I wanted to go there later because I knew
We
Trump
were
was the
hungover.
headliner. So I wanted to go later to see Trump, you know, but you wanted to go early because you didn't want to miss Trump, you know, which I didn't
want to
blame
miss
you for.
Candace Owens.
You didn't want to miss Candace Owens. So we showed up there, what, around 10:30 a.m.?
Yeah, around. I woke you up. You're hungover as hell, and it was like probably like 8:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Liam, you're like, what? We gotta go to the Freedom Tour. We gotta go to the Freedom Tour. You're like, bro, it's like 8:30 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, but we're gonna miss Trump. I had like this fear that we were not gonna see the people there.
Right.
We show up there, and it is like this black preacher who's like, and the Democrats are the devils. And then we just look at each other like, all right, we're in for this now, you know?
Well, what we thought, we were like, look, we have to watch this guy, but then other people will come. You know, it's just this guy, but then who we're looking for is coming. And then we got our first sales presentation, right?
Yeah. We got our first sales. We get there. You know, we've seen this guy. We're like, okay, this guy's passionate about what he's doing. This preacher guy. But then he leaves, and we see these pillars that are there. There's family, freedom, finance. Finance? What finance? What does that have to do with anything? And then we got our answer as this tall, used car salesman looking piece of trash walks on stage, and he's like, how's it going, everybody? And everyone's like, you know, and then he starts doing this bullshit like, now I want you guys to get up and start shaking your arms, like this Tony Robbins bullshit.
Yeah, and you know what? I looked him up afterwards, and he does that at every single one of his speeches. These guys were just doing copy paste the same speech they give every single time.
Yeah, and they. Why don't you tell them what they do? But we also got to mention their 2004 cars that they put in this slideshows.
Yeah, well, they tell you that they're gonna give you a presentation to double your money, and then this guy goes up there and he gives a speech, and it really starts. What it is it's like he insults you, and then he tells you about his class. And he insults you, and then he tells you about his class. And it's like the solution to feeling better from his insult is always buying his course, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what are, you know, people are doing great things and making millions of dollars and living in big mansions. And what are you doing? Where do you live?
Yeah.
So in my course, I tell you all about how to make money. You know what I mean? So it's always like, that's immediately after. So when you're trying to like, you're like a little child who's been beaten. You're trying to like look for like comfort. And the only comfort you have is this guy's course, which later he tells you is $97, right? Wasn't it?
It was $97. Actually, the original value was $997, but
no, it was 2000. It was 2000, wasn't it?
No, but I remember it was like 997, and then they slash it, and then it's 97.
Yeah. Anyway, they brought it down. It was a great deal. It was only that day you were getting that deal, this course, and we thought nobody was going to buy it, but people were after his speech, and by the masses were going to buy it.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It was
I was filming it, and then, you know, we were looking at each other, and it's sad because the demographic, you know, they're there. Their only hope in life is Trump, you know, and the country, rather than focusing on, themselves and their careers. And so they don't really have the economic, value to give their generational wealth to their kids. And then this guy goes on and says, what are you going to give to your children? When you go to heaven, God is going to look at you and he's going to press that big red button and send you straight down to hell. But you could buy my course, snowflake. He's like beating you up, like you say.
Yeah.
And by the time, we got to see some actual speakers, it's like, oh, we get a little more energy back. Candace Owens is here, or Don Bongino. We'd be like, this is pretty cool. And then, bye. Guess who's coming back to beat you up? Yeah, another salesman to sell you the same bullshit course. All right.
Yeah.
And then at the end, me and Liam we had enough. We started seeing boomers. They're leaving, and these poor boomers, they came to see Trump, and they're getting tired. They want to go home. It's like 8 p.m. So there's this fat used car salesman who's hosting.
Hold on a second. We got thirsty, right?
Yeah, we got really thirsty, and this guy, he goes up on stage and he's like, repeat after me. The lunch does not start at 12 p.m. And then the whole crowd's like, the lunch does not start. So he's treating us like cattle. Yeah. And we try to get water and it's shut off. All the water shut off.
Yeah, they shut off the water fountains and they were selling bottled water for like $5 a bottle.
Yeah.
$5.50, something crazy like that. It was insane.
And if you wanted to get a meal.
And the guy's like, if anybody is hungry, we have wonderful lunch here for sale. It's like $20 for like a cheeseburger or something crazy.
And a hot dog. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's retarded. So we just like left and we went across the street because it's what's the stadium called there? It's like the Dolphins or who plays out of there?
The Panthers play. I'm not sure
the Panthers. Yeah, right across that stadium, there's like this huge outdoor mall. So we go and we get a meal for $10. But we calculated if you were there as a ignorant boomer who's a wolf among sheep, right? Because that shirt said wolf.
Oh yeah, wolf not a sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're not a fucking wolf among sheep. Like, look at all of you. You're all wearing MAGA hats. Like, you're all sheep. You're Trump sheep.
Yeah.
And
exactly. No, but I think you just had a good point. It's like the fact that these people they're looking to outside things to make their life better instead of just doing what they know is the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know. It was, we came back, we got beaten down, and me and Liam, we got fed up. Okay. So this guy's like, and now we're going to bring the guy who has the Let's Go brand, the founder of the Let's Go Brandon website. And at this point, me and Liam like looked at each other like, no. Like we get up from our seats and we're like, woo! And we're like, boo, boo. And then like, they're like, look, we got to play into this a little bit. We want Trump. We want Trump. The whole crowd, we want Trump. Everyone starts joining in. It was like we're the leaders of a movement, And then the guy like looks to our direction. He's like, don't worry, we want Trump too. He's on his way. And then everyone's like, it's getting louder. We want Trump. We want Trump. The whole stadium, it's echoing everywhere. And then it's reverberating everywhere. So, and then what happens is the guy's like, he's panicking. He's like, let's give a round of applause for our veterans, folks. Woo! The whole crowd shifts. It's like, it's insanity. It's insanity. And me and Liam were like, holy moly,
Yeah, people fell for it.
Yeah. And then finally the guy, Let's Go Brandon website, he choked a little bit and he left because he knew like people didn't want to hear his bullshit little speech. And he's like, and it's my honor to introduce Donald Trump. And then it's like, we hear the Rolling Stones for like 15 minutes. Da, da, na, na, na. We're like filming. By the time he comes out, it's like I have 15 minutes of just fucking, I can't get no satisfaction.
Yeah, I don't know why it was. Yeah. I don't know.
And then he comes out and he does the usual. And you look at what's going on in San Diego. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And it was, but so many people had left that we kept taking their seats,
Yeah.
And we got close to the stage. Anyways, I got to tell you guys about Streann Studio. Streann Studio is the perfect place to start your own podcast. I love it. I'm using it right now. Honestly, like if it wasn't for Streann Studio, I would have probably killed myself. I would have been depressed. I would have been like, no one wants to hear me. And this is terrible. So sad. So Streann Studio has allowed me to live this fulfilling life that I do doing podcasts. And I have to thank Streann Studio for that. And, it's a blessing. It's so easy to do. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do know how to go on Streann.studio and start a podcast. And so can you today. If you have a idea of what you want your podcast to be, then, it doesn't matter. You just go to Streann.studio, you put your email in, bada bing, bada boom, you start your podcast like that. It's easy as that. Go to Streann.studio for your chance to start your podcast and make your dreams come true. There's a lot of cool features on Streann Studio. I mean, like this little feature right here, we can add a third person there, in case we want Charles to come in or something. Or we can do it like this. Like, I'm the big guy. I'm running the podcast. Or, you want to do a different background. Wait, let me do the different background here. Wow, look at this background. Bubbles, baby. We got different backgrounds. And then Friday live show, of course. How can you forget about Friday live show? There you go. So I like this one.
The tickers, the new feature.
The stickers, okay.
The tickers.
Look at that.
No, the tickers. There's a new feature on Streann Studio.
Oh,
you can put a moving ticker. Yeah.
They update things and I don't even know about it. That's how good this is. Where are the tickers?
It's in the lower third section.
Lower thirds. Oh, is that it?
Not that. No, not that.
What is it? This?
Not that. There's one that has like the moving one.
Oh, tickers. There you go. Hey, Streann Studio. What the hell? How do I do the tickers?
You got to press the on-off switch.
Oh, Streann Studio. You see that? Wow, that's awesome. When you're watching like the news and it has like little things there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do one right now.
You can have it be on the top or the bottom or both.
There you go. Look at this one. My mother started a podcast on Streann Studio.
Did she really?
Yeah, she did.
Did she like subscribe or is she using your account?
She made her own account,
You can say it. It's okay.
She didn't know.
You know what?
She didn't start a podcast. Did you think she did?
I don't know. There'd probably be a market for that, a Persian podcast. There's like probably not that many.
There is a guy at my dad's work. He sent me his podcast. He's like, "Here, listen to it's all in Persian," and I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So Streann Studio is great. It's fantastic. Anyways, Montreal right now is named the top 11 destinations of 2022 for the summer. And I mean, after 2 years of bullshit that we've been going through in the pandemic, I haven't been here. I've been in Toronto and Miami and California. I don't hang out with the plebs in Montreal. I'm just kidding. I love Montreal, but no, it's been a disaster, and it's so sad because people they've been robbed from their humanity and freedom. But the Grand Prix, which Liam, right, is happening next week. And it's a big event. On Sunday, I was out walking, I went out drinking with Charles, and it was a different vibe. A lot of people are showing up on the streets, and it was on a Sunday. You think it's like you're at a frosh weekend or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's great. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. You remember we did that the Grand Prix there? It was such a great.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we had a friend, and we, the whole thing was like, let's get girls. And our friend there, he's like, bro, you guys are such pussies. Let me do it. So this guy, he finds out 3 girls, it's me, Liam, and this guy. Okay. And it's like perfect, he's like goes like to introduce himself, and you're like, me and Liam are look at each other like, great, and then they turn around, they're all ugly as hell. They're all ugly as hell. And Max, the guy, he didn't care about the looks, So we were stuck there with these girls. And then Liam, at one point, you just ditched us. He left us, and I was like stuck there at the bar.
Sorry.
It's okay. It is what it is. But anyways, it's happening. There's a new study that suggests attractive women who wear makeup are perceived as more aggressive by other women. What do you think about that?
I think anybody who's more attractive is perceived as aggressive to some people who aren't too confident.
Do you think it's a makeup factor, or do you think it's just the looks wise?
I think it's just looks wise. Maybe makeup because they think, oh, I should be doing that too, or I could be doing that too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that study, but I do know that if you're not too confident and you don't know where you should be in life, and you don't know what what your vision is, or what your goals are, and what you should be doing, if you see somebody who's super attractive, and that can be intimidating to you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of discussion about makeup and makeup in the workplace. We've all heard the Jordan Peterson perspective. Well, if you're wearing lipstick, it's for female arousal. Like, he's like trying to say, like, if you wear lipstick and makeup, it's like you're trying to get people sexually interested into you at the workplace. Like, he's like, yeah. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that point. He's a psychologist, because some people are just like not, makeup makes people confident,
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the point. I don't think it's always about sexual attraction,
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Liam, why don't you tell us about your podcast there? Watch this.
Yeah, we go live twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes Mondays, but usually Mondays are busy, so usually Tuesdays, Thursdays. And we give you a little update on what's going on in the news, what's going on in the world. I talk about it a little bit. It's a comedy show, though. We're keeping things light. We're keeping things interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's a pleasure. You introduced me to the Streann team, and I'm happy to be doing this. It's a great opportunity, and maybe we'll do the show again. I'll come on your show. You'll come on my show, and who knows? Maybe we'll do a podcast together.
Yeah, listen, Shayan, it's so good to see you doing your podcast and just thriving and being successful in your field. And I'm just so proud of what you've accomplished.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And that is a wrap for the Shayan Show. Thank you for joining us, folks. The Shayan Show.